Look at that hair. Receding hairline. What is going on in my life? Yeah!
Donkey Job Projects!
Welcome to 100 Days of Making Comics, day number 26. It's a really cool day because, I don't know, it's Sunday. And got a lot done this weekend. Got a lot more done yesterday than I originally told you guys. And I got a lot done today so far. It's crazy. I'm very thankful that I've had the opportunity and the time to do some extra work than I normally would. Really cool. So today I just want to talk to you about something interesting that I was thinking about, that I've kind of come to know within the last few years. I don't know. I heard a video or whatever. And I guess I always knew it, but I didn't think of it this way. But something interesting is I was having a conversation, and I haven't put the podcast up yet with Fwah Storm, but I'm working on that. Or I don't know if I'm working on it. I'm going to work on it. I haven't even checked to see if the file's available for me yet. But I will be soon. But I was hanging out with him after the podcast, and we still talked a little bit more, as happens often in these kinds of situations. And we had some really good conversation. It was really cool. And he asked me a couple questions about religion and my faith, and how I plan to kind of treat that, or am I plan to put it on my in my stories. I've said some things in the past about it, and he was just curious. He was asking me how I handle, do I put my faith in my stories and things like that. And it just, I don't know, it got me thinking a little bit after the conversation, and I had one of these situations where you get this story idea, and it just comes, and then it just flows through you. So in some ways I got more time done on the comic with that too, or comics with that too, because I have a whole new story idea now I'm super excited about, and I'm curious to see how people will receive it when it's done. Maybe the next story I work on, I don't know. But the basic idea is that it's called Whitewash, and it's basically going to be an expose of the church, like the Christian faith church, sort of. But it's kind of in the genre of horror and tragedy as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be part of 12 stories or not. It'd be cool if I can fit it in as that. That would be really awesome. It also kind of melds together with another idea I had, which was to kind of make my own chick tracts. I don't know if you guys ever heard the chick tracts, seen the chick tracts. They're little pamphlets, but they're actually comic books, little tiny things, a little bit bigger than a business card, that it's like little booklets or whatever, and they tell usually the gospel, but they tell it in or some kind of religious truth from their perspective. And it's a lot of times it's pretty harsh. It's Catholics are horrible type of thing, and you're going to hell, and all this kind of crazy stuff. And I don't want to comment on that, but that's not where I'm going with it. But it's an interesting, well, actually, in some ways, it is where I'm going. The harshness kind of those chick tracts is probably what this story will kind of reflect that. And the gospel it's actually gonna be, this is gonna be there's this whole idea of kind of telling your stories, but not being super preachy in them, and just letting things flow out, but trying to not be super obvious and super preachy, kind of hiding behind metaphors and maybe allegory or whatever. But then there's sometimes a more direct approach. This time it's going to be a little bit more of a direct approach, which is something I haven't done with any of my comic stories yet. But it's going to be interesting. I think people are going to be interested, whether you're a Christian or not. I think people are going to be interested. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a little bit harsh, but it's going to be, I don't know, I think it's going to be pretty cool, like eye-opening. And it's kind of like a horror tragedy type of thing. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. It's an interesting idea to me, and I'm super excited. It's called Whitewash. I don't want to get too much into it. I'll be showing the process when I do it, but there's certain parts I don't want to show because I want it to be like cool impact when you read it. So it's cool. Like, it'll be an exercise for me to like go full bore, kind of being kind of explicit with ideas about religion and faith and stuff. And all my stories won't be like that. In fact, so far, none of my stories even barely come close to touching on my faith, except for like Attack of the Lizard Brain. It's about bullying. A basic concept in the Bible and just in life is love people, don't hurt them. So in that way, my faith comes through a little bit. But this is the first time I'm going to be like full bore, blah blah blah, and then other stories will be different gradations. Sometimes I'll have some themes that are from my faith, sometimes I won't. Something else that I was thinking about and that was interesting today is this idea that the Bible, like, there's this whole thing of like, with Christian music, Christian whatever, stories, there's a lot of times there's this like, it almost feels like a watered down story because like people pull back a little bit and they're afraid to like put, coarse language or anything sexual or violent or anything that would be like maybe rated R or rated X. And it's interesting because if somebody were to, and this is something, I've heard other people talk about, but I haven't just come to realization, but in the past few years I realized that, it's kind of weird because if somebody like a movie rating, whoever rates these movies and whoever like kind of critiques these things, if they were to do that about the Bible would easily be rated R. No doubt about it. Like, the Bible would be rated R. And there's parts, there's gratuitous, or I don't know if gratuitous is the right word, but there's like explicit, sex, there's explicit language. That's probably not in there a lot though, but there's some things that like probably were considered in the day of the people who wrote, the Bible, and in those cultures would have probably been explicit language. There's violence, lots of violence in the Bible. There's a lot of good stuff in the Bible, but the thing is the context, all those things that might be considered evil or maybe not like safe for work even, or like not like whatever, like all those things within a certain context, it makes sense because, the thread of the Bible is to show the redemption of man, God's plan of redemption of man through his working within history. That's basically kind of if you wanted to know a nutshell of what the Bible is, that's what it is. But, obviously there's way more to it. Wisdom and philosophy and all kinds of stuff. That's cool. Let's see. So, even to the point, like, there's, you want Godzilla, a cool Godzilla monster movie, got it in the Bible. You got stuff like that in the Bible. You want a drama, you want comedy, there's comedy in the Bible. You want tragedy, there's definitely tragedy in the Bible. Trying to think of all the different, romance, there's every genre that is in the movies is in the Bible. Even to the point of, some could argue I don't want to say porn, like it's not porn, but like there's definitely sexual things, that are, I mean, and this is a bad, there's good versions of sexual things, and there's also bad versions of sexual things in the Bible. But there's like, one point in Judges that I saw pointed out in a video today, where a woman is basically gang raped. It's crazy. I mean, but it's meant to tell a story, a point. It's not, and this is like a historical thing. It's like reporting on the news. This just happened. But, basically, gang raped, and please, if you don't want to hear any further, this is pretty crazy. So basically, shut it off. But basically cut up into pieces and sent throughout the nation of Israel. And the point of that is to show that there's no respect for authority, there's no kingship, there's no anything, any concept of the belief in God at that point in time in Israel history. And it's meant to show a specific thing. It's not obviously there just to be like, oh cool, let's put like the most gruesome thing we could possibly put. It's meant to illustrate a point. So it's crazy. Like, I think sometimes a Christian might be shy to put certain things in their story, and you do have to use wisdom. You don't want to just put it in there just for the sake of putting crazy stuff in there, but you want to put things in there if you're trying to share a point and some character needs to use coarse language, it might be okay. There's different reasons for different things. Of course you want to use wisdom and stuff like that, but if you want to sit there and say that, we can't do anything and be super crazy, like it's gonna, I mean, the Bible is rated R, it would be rated R, definitely. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but like I said, the whole point of the whole Bible is to show the redemption of man from evil and sin, and a falling away from God, So, it's meant for good, obviously, but it doesn't shy away from showing the reality of life, and even metaphorical, imaginative things like Leviathan and different monsters and stuff that's in there too, so, and a lot of that is metaphor and stuff like that. So yeah, just something to think that I'm thinking about, and I know a lot of the people who watch my stuff aren't necessarily people of, the same faith as me, but, I feel like this stuff might even be interesting to you, hopefully. So let's get into what I did today. All right, so yesterday's page is finished. I ended up finishing it yesterday. And this new page is finished. Finished this up today. This is page 6, so we got 5, 6, and 7. Nope, not going to show you. But I got 7 all set up and ready, so all I need to do is do the grace for that, and then do the lettering for all the other pages. So yeah, that's what I did as far as comics. I also did my hand art, and I did some other work for another small project. Making a lot of headway. Really excited. So yeah, really excited, guys. I don't know, can't say much bad. This weekend was definitely productive. Happy about that. And I think I'm gonna chill out for the rest of the weekend, get this video up, maybe get my other video up with the podcast. Hopefully, we'll see. But that will be out soon, sometime this week. And my goal is, now that I got this much progress done, I'd love to have the Lizard Brain comic finished, at least for the web, and have it posted maybe by next weekend. That would be rad. That'd be really cool. You guys could read it, check it out. That'll be fun. We'll see, because I have a lot of setup to do just to figure out where I'm going to post it. You know, I'm not, still have to decide on what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you got something from this episode. Day 26 signing out. Please, if you're interested, do whatever you want, but like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike, whatever you want to do. That would be rad. I will talk to you tomorrow on day 27. Day 26 signing out. Peace out.